everything's still looking good for Forsyth and Mace and all those guys?
Absolutely. They both practiced both days and taken every rep, so it's ready to go.
What is the shakeout on the line? Just because the line played so well this past week.
Yeah.
Alex comes back, who's the first guy out of that first five.
Well, we still got a couple days to figure that thing out, but they are playing well. Not to mention, Dawson was playing really well too. So we've got a lot of guys that, when I say a lot, we've got about 7, maybe 8 guys that have shown that they can play. They do a lot of stuff, so you have to. It's a very rep-intensive week of practice, so we feel confident in those 7, 8 guys to play.
What makes their front so good defensively? It seems like they've bottled up opposing running attacks pretty well, especially late.
They have. They're very disruptive. Their scheme is disruptive. They stem, then they move. A lot of pre- and post-snap movement. Penetrators, a lot of speed off the edge. They can run you down from behind. They can also mesh charge effectively. Linebackers are really physical and explosive up front. I believe all 7, 8 guys, the starters are all seniors or redshirt seniors or super seniors. So they've seen a lot of football. They play really well.
With how healthy you guys are, going into this one, obviously a lot of young guys have gotten some good reps, but how do you feel the starters have kind of gelled now that you're kind of looking healthier?
We're getting healthier. How they've gelled, talk about the guys that have back or the young guys with
the guys that are coming back, just because, you haven't had some of them for a little bit.
Right. They've looked good. I mean, if they're playing this week, they've been repping 2 weeks out, so we feel like, for example, Braden Swinson was repping a week out before he played last week, and he had some really good play, and then he had a couple plays that were a little bit rusty. So I think that always shows up every now and then. I think the fact that we had the extra day, the week before that we had the bye week, I feel like we've ramped up pretty well.
KT and Braden both talked about just the chemistry and how that could be inconsistent when you seemingly got guys coming in and out because of injuries. Do you feel like there was a little bit more consistency this week, and maybe now that guys are back, it evens itself out a little more than it has?
It feels like it has. Obviously live game reps will tell, but it feels like we are back in a very good, I would say, rhythm, a very good state of continuity.
What goes into the just practice management of reps of Travis in particular for not just this week, but here on out, really? But just given his workload increase, stuff you dealt with CJ before, it's not unprecedented or anything. Just how do you go about it?
He's fresh and he's good to go right now, so there really are no limitations. So the guy get banged up to the point where the repetitions can harm him, then we certainly scale back on that. We're not at that point yet. Certainly all the other guys have gotten a significant amount of reps, so we feel really good about the preparation and the rep count for him.
In fall, it was competition for that punt returner spot, but it seems like Mike has a real strong grasp on that. What has he done well, and what are his strengths back there for you guys?
Well, it starts with good decision making and securing the football, right? You certainly want to get possession of the ball. You force the punt, you don't want to give it right back. He's done those 2 things. He's also shown that he can make an explosive play back there and has put us in good situations. So really fired up and proud of him for doing that. He had worked at that really hard, and we caught a couple other guys that have worked at it too, that give you an opportunity. So we're getting better and better at teams, both covering and returning.
This UCLA defense loves to blitz, loves to stunt. Has there been a team that you've seen so far this season that does that with the same frequency and regularity that they seem to do?
I've not.
What is the biggest counter that you guys have to that? And in the sense of how do you game plan for a team that bringing 7 and 8 is not unheard of, and it maybe is happening more consistently than other teams?
You got to be sound in everything you do, and you got to make sure you have good eye discipline to carry out your assignment.
Jamal played Dulcich last year, faced him, and that was only like his second game in college football. What have you seen, and did well in that game, right? How have you seen Jamal progress this season, heading into this matchup where he'll face him again?
Yeah, I feel that early on he was knocking some of the rust out, like we mentioned earlier with a couple other guys. I feel like he's back to form now, and feel like the other guys that have jumped in and gotten reps here as well have done really good. So Jamal's a really good football player for us. We expect him to play really well.
The university released some renderings yesterday of a brand new indoor practice facility that's going to be done in 2024. Just as somebody who has been a part of this program for a while now, to see the continued investment within the football facilities, what does that do for you guys, for recruiting, for the branding of the program, and just for you personally, knowing that you've got that backing as a coach?
Yeah, well, it's a testament to the fact that Oregon's commitment to development, the innovation behind it, is just at a very different level. If a student athlete's going to come here, they're going to receive a level of investment and be surrounded by resources like no other place in the country. And it's awesome to be a part of. It's proud as can be to be a member. of this organization, and really exciting because it continues to up the level and the caliber of student athlete that you can attract here. So really excited about it.
How involved were you in the planning process of what that facility is going to have in it?
Oh, I've been doing all football. We'll have those conversations, some other time, but really looking forward to it.
It looked like just initially that it would potentially knock out one of the outdoor fields over here. Just in your what you do know of it, and between seeing it and the meetings and whatnot, is the outdoor field basically going to be Odson once that's built?
I think I'll talk on design. I think it's best, done at a later time, and would be glad to, really jump into details when the time is right. Don't want to keep anything from you that would be of value or something that has such a, such a wow factor to it. But I don't think we're ready to go to that part yet. But when it is, I think it'll be something you'll find really exciting and really powerfully impactful for this program going forward.
When you talked this past week just about Devin upping his practice reps, his focus and concentration, that's helped him do better out on the field. I mean, have you seen that even more this week off the heels of a good performance, where maybe there is something to point to of, now that you have applied yourself, like this is what you see and what this success can be?
It's been a steady climb. I needed to keep climbing. I mean, one thing we do here, we're just very real, right to the point. There's no, you've heard me say it a lot of times, right? There's no head fakes, there's no nonsense, no BS. You got to work and you got to earn the way the world should be, right? And so we take pride in doing that. He's done a lot of stuff in practice that shows that he is stepping up as a performer, as an accountable guy. Sky's the limit for him. If he does go full throttle on that, we're pushing him to get there. And now it's on him to get there. I think he will. Let's see what happens.
You've heard a lot about the importance of Tuesday, Wednesday practices. Just what do you like about this team through these 2 days of practice and their preparation?
Yeah, to me, I like that question a lot because the intensity really showed up, and it showed up strong. And we went indoor today because the field was a little bit slick outside, not because of the weather. I mean, it's going to be 7 degrees over there and be a perfect weather day. But the physicality with which you practice with, to be able to practice with physicality and stay up on your feet is really important. The stunts that they do on defense, what they run on offense is challenging, and you've got to see it full speed. If you don't see it full speed, you're setting yourself up for a rough day. And so credit to the scout teams, they've done a really good job. Our guys have prepared really well. They know that preparation continues all the way to the game and then through the game, and that's what the complete and utter focus is on.
You've mentioned what Anthony brings to the sideline during games as well. I'm not even sure if you saw it in real time because you were paying attention to the defense, but in that fourth quarter when he goes over to Travis, talks to him specifically, goes over to the offensive line, speaks to them specifically before some of those drives. Plug us into just what you've seen from your quarterback on that sideline demeanor in those moments, not just on the field, but to your point, on the sideline and before those moments, before those drives.
Well, like we said, real is real, and they know that that means a lot to him. His ability to have a positive and strong impact on his teammates in clutch situations, critical situations, is felt. If you look at his numbers in the fourth quarter throughout the season, and particularly this last game, they're strong numbers, really, really strong numbers. So, and I know Anthony has been working his tail off to have that type of consistency throughout the course of an entire game. So it's very meaningful. More and more guys are doing that. That's what's helping us grow as a football team, and that's something you need all the time.
Have you experienced a guy quite like, obviously Bama had some terrific quarterbacks while you were there, but I'm not sure anybody who had quite I haven't looked at all the splits, but like Joe has not had a quarterback with the splits in the fourth quarter that you mentioned. Can you recall of one who had just like 6 touchdowns in the air and on the ground and 200 plus efficiency rating?
Well, I mean, I've been pretty blessed. I've been around some pretty good quarterbacks, so I can't recall specific numbers. But, back to Anthony, he's just done a really good job in the fourth quarter. We got to keep doing that and do it early on as well.
You guys have a lot of quarterbacks, in your room. Go preparing for a guy like DTR. How valuable has it been to have some of those freshmen that can kind of help you guys get ready for him?
Well, we don't have a lot of quarterbacks, we have the average number they have around the country. To get ready for a guy like that, you need all of them because he does all things very well. He throws it well, he runs it well, he improvises extremely well, design quarterback runs really well. Accuracy, I mean, he gets on, you've seen it. You've seen how dangerous of a player he is. He's as good as it gets and as hard to defend as there is in the country. So valuable to, a guy like him, a guy like Charbonnet, their offensive line. I know that they just got some really good players across the board. You mentioned Dulcich, you mentioned Ryan. Someone mentioned Ryan earlier. Really good players.
Is there a way to, simulate somebody who improvises so well with his feet? I mean, is there a way to even accomplish that in practice when a lot of that seems like it's sort of...
It happens. It happens organically a little bit, as you're running plays and as you're playing ball. If you're playing fast, if you're practicing fast, it does happen. And so you do get some simulations that you're like, okay, that's probably what it's going to look like. But you also design this stuff and script it, and the number of plays that we run is up there, on both sides of the ball. So we feel like we've prepped well.
Last question.
As it pertains to Anthony, do you feel like it's overlooked sometimes, the role of leadership and being that guy in the room that your teammates and guys will kind of want to go to war with out there? When there's all this discussion about, stats and outside things, I feel like intangibles matter. Do you feel like intangibles are sometimes overlooked in the broader conversation about quarterbacks?
They're at the top of the list with everything else as it relates to everything. The quarterback room, this country, this world, leadership is different, right? You want to be led by someone. You want to have the back of someone that is giving every ounce he has for the betterment of all those around him. And that has proven strong, and that is something that when you look at quarterbacks, you want to recruit a quarterback, got to have that. Because, if a guy has that, then the offensive line somehow finds a way to block for that much longer. Running back is willing to run that much harder. Defense is willing to try to find a way to get the ball back that much more that much faster. So extremely important, top of the list.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Guys, thank you very much. Have a good